God's plan, your love story. Welcome to Blueprint for Two.
And smile. Look at the camera. Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 3 of Blueprint for Two. My name is Pedro.
And I'm Alicia.
And that's where we're ending that.
No, we gotta say, and we're the best.
Alright, we can do that. Alright, so I'm Pedro.
And I'm Alicia.
And we are
The Menas.
So I
I
don't love it. I don't love it.
I do.
Anyway.
Makes us
So-
us. Unique.
Okay, sure. So today we're going to be talking about understanding relationships, right? Whether it's family, friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, marriage, all kinds of relationships,
Love.
and how to cultivate or how to have a God-honoring relationship,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
The importance of having those friendships and relationships throughout
Right.
your walk with
Yeah,
God.
why it's so important to have people that fear God and are God honoring and are going to push you and help lead you
Mm-hmm.
in the right direction,
Yeah.
right? So what does the Bible say about relationships?
So let's just jump right into it.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible says that we're created for a relationship. I think it's in Genesis that it says that God said it's not good for man to be alone. I think that alone there shows that we were created for a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That one in specific was a husband and wife relationship. But period, we were made for a relationship.
Right.
I think it was like just part of God's design when He created us.
I've always kind of thought a little bit, how God made, the story of creation, right?
Mhm.
Heaven and the earth, the sun, the moon, fish, birds, animals, fruits, all that stuff. And then, seeing all the animals and stuff, right? And seeing how there was male and female and everything. And then he looked at Adam. I've always found that interesting. Like after all that, and then that's when he looked at Adam and he was like, "Oh, you
need a helper.
you need a helper." So it's always funny to me. Like, I'm not saying it was, but a little bit is like it was like a second thought, right? And I'm not trying to say anything.
No, no.
It's just I've always found it funny, like how as I'm reading the Bible, like I said, it goes through the whole birds and fish and all that stuff, and then it gets to Adam, and it's like, oh, yeah,
Now.
it's not good for you to be alone.
Mhm.
You need a helper.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just thought that was funny.
Well, you said on the last episode last week, you said perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So, perspective on that.
Perspective.
God gave Adam a job, a purpose,
Mm-hmm.
before He gave him a wife.
That's true.
So, single folk out here, or people looking for relationships, are wanting to get into a relationship without having their stuff together first.
Yeah.
Like, go get your career.
They want to be like, girl, I'll give you the world. They can't even give themselves a haircut.
Stop. Not a haircut. But yeah, no, like, get yourself together first,
Yeah.
and then go find you a wife.
No, that's a really good point. That's a very good perspective. Okay, I dig it. right? So then, how do we build connections and like relationships? You know, it doesn't matter if it's like a friendship, or like a dating relationship, or you know, up to marriage. How do you how do you build a healthy connection?
The foundation has to be God.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the Bible gives this analogy somewhere. But a house built on sand versus a house built on a rock. The
Mhm.
one on the sand is going to sink every single time. It won't stand firm. So the foundation has to be God. Whether, you know, you're trying to build friendship, not relationship, and, you know, like a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. Hey, let's do Bible studies together. Once every other week, you know? Like, you start there. Let's have, like, a time of worship and you get together with all your friends. That is, I think, where it all starts. Or where it should start.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're being honest, I don't think that we all start there.
No, you know, you just meet people, you vibe out, and you're like, you know, you think, oh, they're cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and hopefully, you know, you share the same beliefs, or at least you're willing to share your beliefs
Right.
in God and help bring salvation to their life. Everybody's got their own process.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
If they're not already saved, obviously.
Yeah. But yeah, so definitely having God at the center, just like having God in the center of our relationship is important.
Mm-hmm.
Having God in the center of every relationship is important. I can't tell you how many times, you know, I've been going through something and that, you know, real close friend just won't leave me alone and just keeps reminding me of the word and advising me, hey, you know, you shouldn't be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a real friend.
Yeah, definitely. And I think even like, I guess going to the practical side of things, making sure that you're not being a people pleaser. That's one of the things I struggle with, is being a people pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
But making sure that the reciprocation is there. You know, like if you're just looking for a friendship, hey, if you're willing to go out of your way for me, I'm willing to go out of my way for you, type of thing. Where it's not a one-ended, one person just giving
Mm-hmm.
the entire time, because that can lead to a toxic friendship.
Yeah, that can. And I was just thinking real quick too, is that, you know, you say that you shouldn't be the only one giving, right? It should, you know, be going both ways, but there's times when the other person just can't give, right?
Yeah.
And so just being mature in your faith and knowing and realizing and recognizing, like I said, when I've been going through those hard times and I got nothing to give,
Mm-hmm.
you know, those friends have been there for me, reaching out and giving their best to me,
Right.
to help get me through those situations, you know. Because sometimes you just don't have it in you to give, like you just can't,
Right.
you know.
I think there's a season for that, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's all the time.
Right,
No.
right.
That's toxic.
Right.
No, but just, you know, there are times, there are seasons, like you say, where it will be like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you gotta make sure that the people that are around you are gonna be the ones that are gonna pour into you.
Right. I think the intentionality should be there, though, too. Even if you're in a season where you can't give,
Mm-hmm.
like, I feel like there is a way that they carry themselves as a person where you can tell, like, hey, I know they're in a season where they can't give, but I know that the heart is there.
Well, that comes through knowing the person.
Right. Right.
You know, that comes through spending time with the person, building that relationship, knowing them, knowing what's in their heart. That comes through that, I think.
Yeah.
Is, you know, knowing who they really are, and knowing, Pedro's just going through a tough time right now. He'll be all right, though. I'm here for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's something else that it's important to, I guess.
So for those of you that don't speak Spanish, he said the same thing. You know, that's what eso mismo means. The same thing.
Yeah, that. I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
That that it's I guess important for you to just maybe be discernful with the people that you're trying to build those relationships with. Just to make sure that you have good people around you.
Yeah.
You know.
I agree.
People taking advantage of you.
So we'll move on. So God's design for relationships, right? So as you said before, in Genesis 2:18 is actually where it says it is not good for man to be alone, right? So, and again, you said it already. It's not just romantic relationships. It's for any kind of relationship.
Yeah.
But love should really be the God, and God's love should be the foundation for all of your relationships. So it should be selfless, I think, right? Because when I think of God's love, you know, to me, it's an agape love, which means unconditional, right? It's not a filial. I don't know how to pronounce it. You know what I mean. That's a conditional, situational type of love. Agape means unconditional love.
Yeah.
So so if we apply that to relationships of having God and God's love be the foundation of them all, right? We should have an unconditional love for that person.
Yeah.
Right? And that means that because it is an unconditional love, it doesn't matter what they do, you still are to love them.
Yeah.
Right? And that's hard sometimes.
The Bible says to forgive 70 times 7.
And honestly, sometimes like love isn't it you can't go by a feeling or an emotion, and they give me butterflies and they make me feel nice and I like the way I feel when I'm around them, and you know, no, sometimes it is a choice, a hard and difficult choice to love.
Indeed.
Right?
Indeed.
But you know, as you go building these relationships with friends and family, and like a marriage or romantic relationships, romantic, that's what I meant. You know, there's times when it's just like, I am choosing love. Right?
I feel like we should be, not maybe us, but I feel like we should be more vocal about those moments, because
of when
I'm choosing to love you.
I don't think that's a good idea. I don't. I'll tell you why. Because if I'm choosing to love in that moment, that means we're already going through something. All right? And if I look at you, Alicia, tell me I'm a liar.
Tell me, Alicia?
Yes, because I'm trying to prove a point right now. Tell me I'm a liar if we're having an argument and I looked at you in the eyes and I said, I am choosing to love you right now, if that wouldn't be pouring gasoline on the fire.
Possibly.
I know it would be. Don't give me no possibly. I know for a fact. So, sure, you maybe you take a minute to cool down whatever's going on in that moment. And you come back and you go, you know what? I love you. Don't say I choose. No, just I love you. All right? Like I said, I feel like if you're in something and you look at a person in the eyes and you say, I am choosing to love you right now.
I think it's all in the tone that you say it too. I am choosing to love you right now.
I'm not going to say it in a nice way.
I don't know. Like, I feel like... Because...
I'm just thinking...
I feel like that at least for me,
uh-huh,
that would help me gauge how upset you are. Because I don't feel like you would just throw that out.
Yes. Okay. All right. So that makes sense. I'm thinking it from the perspective of I'm upset or bothered or annoyed or whatever, and you know, there's a difference in delivery, right? If we're having like a nice moment, and you know, I grab you by the hand, and I look at you, and I go, "I love you," right? Now, if I'm annoyed and I'm like frustrated or whatever, and I look at you and I go, I'm choosing to love you right now, right? There's, you get the difference?
Yeah.
I completely understand what you're saying though, is because that would be one of those things that would probably cause the person hearing it to be like, oh, they're choosing. Oh, you know what? Let's take a second. Let's go back. So yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. I just, from my perspective, though, that's going down.
Not the prettiest.
Like a hard trot. That one's gonna burn. But yeah. So let's move on to different types of relationships. Right. So you've got friendships.
Yeah.
Right. Dating and courtship. I don't know why I put up two things. I guess because it said and. Dating and courtship. And then marriage. Right. So jumping back up to friendships real quick. It's so Proverbs 27:17. That's the Bible verse that talks about iron sharpening iron. Right. And I think that it is a really good Bible verse when it comes. So if you have a knife, right, and you go to, after use and use and use and being beaten up and used and whatever, a knife gets dull. It loses its sharpness. So have you ever seen the
Yep.
sharpeners? I guess I'm not well versed in this, but the sharpeners that you use for knives to give them that edge back.
Yeah.
You know, it's made of the same or harder metal than the blade, right? And so when you think about iron sharpening iron, so that means that, you know, the person that God is using to, for example, like for me, like I remember when this was back in like 2015. I'm not even sure, right? But I went through like the most depressing heartbreak of my life, right? I mean, you boy was a mess. All right, for like 6 months. For like 6-7 months. All right, just dark, bad. Okay, and so my best friend though, like just kept, and I got away from God a bit, but my best friend, he kept coming around, and he kept reminding me, as a good godly man that he is, right? He kept coming around. He kept give me advice and encouragement that I didn't want to hear. First off,
Yep.
okay,
Let's
but
be real.
um, but he gave it anyway,
Yeah.
and whether I wanted to hear it or not, I heard it.
It was coming for you.
Or whether I wanted to listen or not, I heard it. That's
Yeah.
Let's go with that. And um, that's one of the reasons that I got through that season of my life, right? And so he was my iron, and he kept sharpening me and sharpening me until finally, I got through it. I stood up, and I was a good godly man again, right?
Yeah, man.
I guess to say it like that. But yeah.
Yeah, those friendships are very important. I have one. I have one. She's not my friend. She's made it very clear that she's not my friend. She's your friend, actually.
She's my friend.
Not my friend. She's my mentor. But she is not as much anymore because she's not like physically close by. But she was that iron for me. First time I ever had anxiety was on her couch in her living room. And she talked me through it, kind of prayed me through it, and to this day I'm ever so grateful for her. But yeah, those friendships are very, very important, because had we not had those friendships, relationships, we probably would have made it out of those seasons, but it may have taken us longer. Eventually, right. Dang, I haven't heard that word in a while. I used to say it all the time.
I used to say it a lot to you.
Drove me up the wall.
But
anyways, let's keep moving.
Mhm.
Love.
So yeah, dating.
Got to do. What's love got to do? Got to do with it.
You got it out of your system?
Yeah.
All right. So now the next thing after the other thing after friendships that I said was dating and courtship.
Yeah.
Right. And so the verse that we chose for this is 2 Corinthians 6:14, and that's the one that talks about not being unequally yoked.
Very important.
Right. And that's so important, because it's so much easier for, we just started going to the gym, right?
Yeah.
And so it is so much easier to pull something down than it is to pull something up for some reason. Okay?
Yeah.
And so if you're unequally yoked, right, that typically, unless you're a real saved, really saved.
And if you're really saved, you're not going with somebody that's unsaved.
Also true. But being unequally yoked, that will pull you down.
Yeah.
See, because the thing is, you won't even realize it either, because it'll start off with, oh, she does this and she does that, but it's okay. I don't really like it, but I'm gonna allow it.
Yep.
Right, and that's what it starts with, is you're allowing that thing that that's not right to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And at first you allow it, and then you get numb to it, you get used to it. Now it goes from you've allowed it to now it's normal.
Yeah.
Right? And now that it's normal, now you're probably a little more inclined to do that thing, whatever it is, even though it's not right. But since it's normal for you, you might do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You're
And
more
then
likely.
and it's a slow,
Downfall.
fade, downfall
Mm-hmm.
to that. It doesn't, it doesn't just happen.
Right.
But that's how the enemy gets you.
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of like walks in.
Mm-hmm. He's tiptoeing.
This is nice.
Mm-hmm.
This is nice. This is okay. Okay. Oh, we're on camera. Let me stop. But yeah. But that's the dangerous part about being unequally yoked, and that's really like for like the people that are like dating, right, to be really wary of that. I love the memes of I can fix him. If Jesus can't fix him, leave that man alone. Nah, but for real, you can't fix him. You can pray for him,
Right.
right? Let God fix him, and
Even after marriage, you can't fix him.
she knows I am not fixed yet.
The Lord
I
is
kid.
working.
I kid. But yeah, so it's real. That's why it's so important to not be unequally yoked.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I won't judge that. When if somebody is in an unequally yoked relationship, because let's say he or she, whichever,
Mm-hmm.
is not the believer, right? I'm gonna say, let's say the girl is the believer, right? The man isn't,
Mm-hmm.
and so what ends up happening is, if they get to marriage, then she's the one that's gonna sanctify the home,
Right.
right? She's the one that through her actions is going to preach Jesus
Mm-hmm.
to her husband.
Right.
God, I'm really trying to remember
It's a
what
verse.
verse
There's
that
a
is.
verse.
But it was so powerful to me
Mm-hmm.
reading that,
I'm gonna see if I can find it.
and to realize that, wow, that's a lot of power that the woman has,
Mm-hmm.
in that relationship, where she is the one sanctifying her home, and she is the one that, like I said, through her actions and her worship of God and her obedience to God, she's the one that's ministering to her husband,
Yep.
and that would turn his heart,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
And then let's say by the other side of the coin, right? The man is a believer, the woman isn't. The man is the head of the household, right? As the head goes, so does the body,
Yeah.
right? So if he, as a believer, is firm in his faith in God, and he looks to God for guidance and direction, and all that stuff, and I'm not saying it's easy for either, on either side, but the man following God, my hope would be that in doing so, and him being faithful, that God is going to turn her heart,
Mm-hmm.
right, and change her heart, for the better.
Isn't there a
You know.
Bible verse too that says, that, like, it's only one person that needs to be saved in the home and the whole house will be saved? Something like that? Or is it the one about the husband?
I gotta find it. I don't know.
I can't remember, but I feel like there's a Bible verse that says that.
You might be right.
The one you were
We
talking
don't
about.
know it all.
We really don't. 1 Corinthians 7:14 and 16. 7:14 through 16 is the one that talks about what you were saying. For the unbelieving husband has been sanctified through his wife, and the unbelieving wife has been sanctified through her believing husband. Otherwise, your children would be unclean, but as it is, they are holy. But if the unbeliever leaves, let it be so.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that or another verse that I want to bring up is Proverbs 4:23. Right, still talking about dating.
Yeah.
Is so Proverbs 4:23 is the one that talks about guarding your heart. Okay, and so that's super important.
Yeah.
In a romantic dating relationship, because you never know if that person is God's gonna use him to build your character
Yep.
by breaking your heart.
Lord Jesus.
All right, so guard your heart, protect your neck. Yeah.
That oh God. That that Bible verse that I was just talking about the whole house being saved. That's the one in Joshua that says, "For me and
Say
my
Joshua
house."
for me one more time.
Joshua?
Okay.
Why?
You said it weird. I don't know.
Did I say
You were
Joshua?
Like, no, you were like Joshua.
Mm-mm.
I was like, it's recorded. We can play this back.
Joshua 24, I believe it's verse 15, but it says, "For me and my house, we will serve the Lord." Yeah. It's like, just one. The Lord needs to just reach one. And then you claim that verse on your house.
Yeah.
But yes, guarding your heart is very important. Man, don't let the church folk fool you.
Yeah, watch out for them.
Church folks sometimes, listen, if you go back to our first episode, you'll hear how Pedro and I met. We did not meet at church.
We didn't.
Amen.
We're both believers though before,
Right.
obviously.
Right. And in our first conversation, we were talking about God. We were talking about, the prophetic. We were talking about how, we serve in church and stuff like that. That was what kickstarted everything.
Yeah.
And even during our dating season, we were very intentional about doing Bible plans together. If you have the Bible app and you do a Bible plan with anyone, you'll get to the end and you have to put like, hey, what did you learn about this? Or what did God speak to you about this thing or whatever?
Yeah.
And so we would fill it out and we'd talk about it. We'd pray, like through those devotionals, through those Bible plans. And they were really good. They helped us a lot, made us have good conversations, things that, we probably may have not thought of talking about before. I guess before doing them or whatever. Or
Yeah.
have we not done them?
Yeah, it definitely made us think about stuff that we hadn't thought about previously. That's actually really good. I would encourage anybody that's dating to do Bible plans on relationships.
Yeah.
One of the ones we did was like, I don't remember all the details in it, but the title for it was something about red flags.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh.
That one was good.
Yeah. I don't think I had too many. I don't think so.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Whatever. But yeah, definitely recommend doing those Bible plans for people that are dating, and especially those with the intention of getting married, right?
You should only date to marry, honestly, though. Because why am I going to entertain somebody if I don't see a future with them?
You're really right. You're really right. You're really right.
But
how do you know how to handle? All right, let me not say handle, because that's not. I don't handle you. But how do you interact? How do you learn to interact with somebody in a relationship?
Please explain.
So
Can
like,
you expound on that, please?
how do you know? Like, how would I know?
Mm.
Right? Let's say I've never had a girlfriend in my life.
Yeah.
All right, never been involved in any kind of romantic relation. I mean,
Right.
nothing.
Okay. Okay.
I meet you. How does like how do I, as having no knowledge,
Okay.
right, of a relationship or how a relationship works or anything like that, how do I know how to and like go into that? You know, because growing up, you date a little bit and you get like that ugly stuff out of the way. It's like, oh man, that was so awkward.
Yeah.
You know, like you got those embarrassing moments and, whew, like that's gone, that's done. I don't have to, live. I know not to do that again.
Right.
Right, and so like you're really right about dating with the intention of marriage.
Yeah.
But like, man, I don't want to like, if I had come to you and I'd never been in a relationship in my life, and first off, would I even talk to you? Would I be afraid of you?
Okay, but let's be honest though. Who has not been in a relationship? I mean, okay, if you're 13, 14 listening to this, I get it. Probably haven't had a serious relationship. But at the age of 18, 19, 20, you've dated. For the most part. I want to say like 99%
So you
of
know
people.
how to be in a relationship.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you...
Do you get what I'm saying?
No, I don't. I'm like a deer in headlights. I don't understand
So,
where you're coming from.
You just said that by like 19 or 20 or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you've had relationships.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So you only know what to do with what you have. You only know what to do with the knowledge you have.
I got you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So as you're listening to this episode, audience, listeners, as you're listening to this episode, date with the intention to marry. You can get to know a lot of people. You can hang out in group settings.
I gotcha. Okay, that's clear. I'm thinking it the way my head processed it was, like only date the person you're gonna marry. That's what I understood in my head.
Because how do I know when I'm gonna marry you or if I'm gonna marry you?
That's what I was trying to say. Like, that's what like I'm like how do you know how to be in a relationship? Like how do you know like that she's weird. I don't like that. That's not
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, don't. I mean, like.
But I get what you're saying now though. I just kind of retarded.
You can get to know a lot of people. Be in group settings. If you want to do like a smaller group, do a smaller group to see how the person reacts in smaller environments. But you don't have to date exclusively. While you're getting to know a bunch of people. Before marriage, yes, date exclusively, 1000%.
Before, especially during marriage. What do you before marriage date exclusively? Especially during marriage.
No. I feel like I'm being misunderstood.
I feel like I'm not getting my point across right. So that's fine.
Anyways, let's move on because we're taking up a lot of time.
You wanna wrap it up?
Well, let's talk about marriage real quick, and then we can kind of wrap it up.
Sure.
Just a little bit. So husbands, we talked about this just a little bit.
Right, I did say marriage was
You don't
Go
want to
ahead.
talk about marriage? Is that what it is?
Yeah, we can. I just thought that'd be like next week's, but whatever.
Okay. Well, we can give a snippet of next week, and we
Well,
kind of
we
did.
just won't touch.
I won't go
just-
into like too much stuff, but I guess during your dating season and your relationship season and working on yourself season, we have, and like I said, we touched on this on the last episode, but women have the Proverbs 31 woman, and men are supposed to be like Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So you have someone to kind of like not compare yourself to, but someone, you have some standards that you kind of have to meet, should meet.
Should strive for.
That's the word.
Yeah.
That's why you're my better half.
I know.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thanks. But yeah, no. So definitely prepare yourself to be that husband or that wife that your spouse is going to need. That was one of the things that I continuously prayed during my not dating season, singleness season, whatever, before I met Pedro and after I met Pedro, was God, make me the wife that my husband is going to need.
Yeah.
And I would pray the same for him. God, make my husband the man that I need him to be.
Little did she know.
The Lord is still working, amen. But
Oh, I saw that one going way different.
what?
Because you said the Lord is still working, and I'm thinking you didn't know what you were asking for.
Listen, be careful with what you ask for, okay?
She got what she wanted
I really did.
with some extra.
But I didn't know that was what I didn't know that what I was asking for was actually what I wanted, but I didn't want. If that makes sense.
What?
We'll get into this next week on the marriage
Sure.
episode.
All right.
There's a little cliffhanger. Come back next week.
But so on this little bit of marriage though, I do want to read or touch on the verse of Ephesians 5:22 through 25, and that's one that talks about husbands love sacrificially
Mm-hmm.
and wives respect and submit. Right? And I don't know why you're making
I
a
don't
weird
know.
smile.
I don't know why you said respect like that. You said it with a tone, but okay.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize. Sorry. And so I've always been fascinated by the fact that it says for the man to love his wife, but for the wife it says to respect her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Respect.
Love.
And so that goes to that speaks though to the character of us as men and you as women.
Mm-hmm.
What we need more.
Yeah.
You know, like when we were dating, I would tell you I might not always be nice to you,
Mm-hmm.
but I will always be right with you.
Yeah.
You know, and in marriage, this process that we've been going through for almost 4 years now, I've learned that sometimes being right doesn't matter.
Look at God. It's okay.
Even
go
though
ahead.
I will still be right, but yeah. So anyway, I'm changing a little bit, but don't cry now. I see a little. Oh no, you just yawned or something. I don't know. There's a little water in your eye. I don't know. Maybe from that revelation.
Water? Where? Some dust in the air, I think.
Anyway. But yeah, it's always been fascinating to me, though, how it says to respect the husband, and for the husband to love the wife.
That's what you guys like crave, is respect. And we, how many times?
I don't know how many times I've been like, don't you dare ever, not that you have,
Yeah, no, I never
but like,
have.
don't you dare disrespect me in public.
Yeah, no, thank God.
Right.
I mean, there's
I'm
no
gonna have
good
to,
around here.
I'm gonna have to like,
I have never disrespected you in public.
if that were to ever happen, I'd be like, can I talk to you over there behind that closed door real quick?
I may have tested boundaries behind closed doors. I don't think I've like.
No, you pushed buttons behind closed doors for
Yeah.
sure, 1,000%.
Yeah.
And in public,
No.
no.
I don't think I've disrespected you.
You haven't disrespected me, but
No.
you've like pushed just a little bit. I'm like, settle down there. Calm down.
How many times have I told you, just love me?
Those are the moments when you're pushing it. when you say just love me, yeah, those are the moments where you know that you're pushing it a little bit.
Just love me.
Anyway, that's our time for today.
Yeah.
But next week we'll definitely get more into marriage. We're kind of doing this in little phases, right? Singleness. This week was relationships.
Yep.
Next week will be marriage.
Yeah.
And then who knows where we go from there.
I'm excited. This has been great so far. If you guys have any topics you'd like for us to touch on, please let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And thank you so much for joining us on episode 3.
So the handle is
At Blueprint for Two on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Spotify.
Oh, that's right. We are on Spotify now.
We are.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It's new. It's new.
Yep.
So yeah, but check us out. And yeah, definitely share. You never know who this will bless.
Yeah. We'll catch you guys next week.
Peace.
Bye.